Are you ready to take your business to the next level? Every day there are countless books and articles that are published offering the key on how to make your business a success. It's easy to feel overwhelmed trying to keep up and run your business. That's why Deb Creer created the Business Power Hour. Keep up on the latest trends, best practices, and techniques for how to make your business a success. Let the Business Power Hour do the heavy work for you.
Good morning, good morning. I am Deb Creer, and I am passionate about giving professionals the tools that they need to make themselves and their businesses as successful as possible. And we're going to have so much fun today because we're going to be talking about something that I know almost nothing about. I love it when I get to have conversations like that. And this is one of those subjects that I need to know more about. And that's digital advertising, advertising on Facebook, things like that. And so please join me in welcoming Naira Perez to our program today. Welcome, Naira.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Great. Well, let me tell people a little bit about you and then we'll dive into this. So Naira Perez is the founder of Spring Hill Digital and has 2 decades of marketing experience. She got her start in direct response advertising, building brands on TV before digital was even a thing. Her main areas of expertise include developing digital marketing strategies, identifying customer patterns and behaviors on and offline, and optimizing ROI through generating qualified leads. But what she truly loves is to help small and medium companies advertise effectively in social media platforms. So again, Naira, welcome.
Thank you. That was a great introduction. Thank you very much.
Great. I love it. Well, let's kind of go back just a little bit and tell us how it is that you got into this and discovered that this is your passion.
Well, that's an interesting story. Like you mentioned, I actually started in infomercials.
Okay.
So that's performance-based marketing. I don't know if you know this, but every station that you watch, it has a different 800 number depending on the station, but it's the same ad.
Right. So that way they saw it on channel 11 or 240 or whatever. Okay.
Yes. Or at least that's how it used to be whenever I was in that industry. So every day or every week, we would receive how many people called, what did they do in whenever they were talking with the person, the sales representative, and where they dropped off in the script. Or even if they order, what did they order? So all of those things we could analyze and then modify our strategies to match that behavior.
Okay.
And that was fascinating to me. I'm actually by trade a logistics major.
So you love the numbers and things.
Yeah, I love the numbers. I love playing with different strategies, but again, everything based on numbers.
Okay.
And so whenever I found this part of marketing, I was instantly hooked.
Okay.
It was just real numbers, real data that we could take and make into actionable strategies. So then digital took off, and for me, it was just a natural transition to digital, where we actually got the information right away. We didn't have to wait a day. We didn't have to wait a week. It was instant. And the algorithm will take care of distributing the clicks, distributing the actions that are being taken. So for me, it was just more of the good stuff.
Right. And what I love is that you do get numbers and they're, because everybody's budget is limited. I don't care if you're, the one person in your spare bedroom or a gigantic company. I mean, and you only have a finite number of marketing dollars. You might be spreading it through, a variety of different things, and you don't want to be wasting it. It was interesting. I was talking with somebody the other day about how things were changing with things like that. And, when I started doing this, we would buy mailing lists. So say we were going to do a direct mail campaign, we would buy certain zip codes, and so you'd say, okay, well, we want to hit this area here. And that was pretty much all you got.
Yep.
And so you didn't know, okay, were they renters? Were they, people with kids? Were they seniors? Were they, whatever? You just sent and kind of hoped that out of, that you get a very small percentage of people that were, even interested in it, let alone would do something. And the cool thing about social advertising is you can get it so finite
Yep.
that, at least you're hitting people who should be interested.
Yes, and that's the big part of how I approach advertising. I approach it in the good sense, in the let's do good. Let's just give ads to people that may be interested.
Right, because you don't want to waste people's time. They get
No.
mad and they poke those buttons.
Exactly. They get mad and your brand suffers if
Right.
you're talking to the wrong people. So to be effective, you have to talk to the right person that is looking for the item that will solve a problem that you're trying to solve. So it is a match. It is, and social media takes it to the next level because I can see their interest. I can see where this new product could actually help them in their normal life, in everyday life. And I work with a lot of small startups. So we go from small to medium-sized companies, and introducing new products that are innovative, it is a challenge because the market, the research is there, but will people want it?
Right.
So that's where we come in and analyze those audiences and make sure that whenever we introduce this product and we make a campaign, it is talking to the right people. And a lot of companies, in their rush to get into digital, forget that step.
Right.
That's where we are different. We will take time to analyze that audience and make sure that, one, the message is the right message, but two, we're talking to the right person.
Right. Right. And it's tricky because, when you start, say with a Facebook ad, you start working through the process and it tells you as you're going how many people you could potentially reach. And so for most people, they're thinking the more we reach, the better. But again, they're wasting so many things. And so pretty soon, you're down to, and maybe you get down to 100 people, depending on what you're selling. Maybe it's, it might be something that, say is a brick and mortar place. So you're going by zip code, all these various things. But if those 100 are the right 100, then it's worth it.
Yeah. And 100 is a little bit too small.
In fact, I'm not sure it would let you do 100, but
no, it won't.
1,000. Okay, 1,000.
1,000 is the minimal required. But
I told you I didn't know.
No, but your point is right on. Your point is very valid, and it is all about the quality of the lead. If I talk to 200,000 people about a car, and none of those people actually drive, then you just wasted a lot of money. Unless you have a strategy for it, which you can get very sophisticated in talking to people that are not directly related to the product that you're selling.
Right.
But that's the basic example, right? If I'm talking about a car to 200,000 people that don't even drive, then that's useless. But if I'm talking to 30,000 people that drive, that actually need a car right now, and it is a very effective way to communicate, even though talking to each person may be more expensive because smaller audiences tend to be more expensive.
Right.
But it is all about that quality of the lead. And another part that a lot of brands forget about is you set up an ad, they see it, you're asking them to do something. So what happens next?
It's not just see it. You want them to do something.
Yeah, so exactly. And if they give you their information, if they raise their hand and said, you know what, I'm interested, then how do you continue that conversation? And that is something that also needs to be evaluated in the success of your ad. If you created a one-time deal, because I can drive a lot of traffic that is not quality traffic.
Right.
Or Facebook can, through an algorithm. I can just say, just drive people to my website.
Right.
But it's all about what are they doing when they get there, and can we retarget them? Do we need to talk more? Is this a longer conversation than what we thought?
Right.
And it very well could be a very long conversation. You need to plan for that.
Right. Your auto thing is a great example. So, you drive them to the website because they're thinking, okay, I need to buy a car.
Mhm.
And, but if that's it, then you've lost them.
Yeah.
You need to be able to, as you said, capture their information. So you get at
Mhm.
least some basic stuff: name,
Yep.
phone number, email. And then you got to follow up, because
Yep.
a lot of things like that, they're ready to purchase. I mean, there are some people who research it for 6 months, but for the most part, they're thinking, I want to buy a car within the next, say, month.
Yeah.
And, and so that means that you have to have the ability to make those phone calls, to send those emails, to do whatever it is. And maybe the next step is the email, and so that can be automated. You don't have somebody actually picking up a phone and calling until you've got them a little bit more qualified. But yeah,
Mhm.
it's that next step. And if the company isn't prepared to do that, then again, you just lost them.
Yeah.
And more importantly, they're going to go back to Facebook and they're going to say, I went to ABC car company and got nothing. Don't waste your time.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
then,
You have very little time to make a very good impression.
Mhm.
So, and you may evaluate the channels. I've heard so many people say, "Oh, you do Facebook advertising. It doesn't work for me." I'm like, "No, you're looking at it wrong. Let's
right.
analyze the data
Mhm.
and see if it could work for you."
Mhm.
I have a client where they have established a funnel and
Mhm.
they have different steps
Mhm.
in the customer's journey.
Mhm.
So whenever you serve them an ad for the first time, it's an education
Mhm.
piece. We're educating you
Right.
into who we are and how
Mhm.
we can solve your needs.
Mhm.
So once the audience has interacted with that
Mhm.
ad, then we serve them another ad, which is
Right.
a little bit more intimate.
Mhm.
And then we ask them to convert very gently.
Mhm.
Guess what? People don't convert in the first ad that we gave them
Mhm.
education for. They have to
Right.
think about it and we have to talk to them
Mhm.
again. Once we
Mhm.
talk to them the second or third
Mhm.
time, actually they convert at a
Mhm.
much higher rate.
Right.
For every person that converts in that first conversation,
Mhm.
6 convert in the second conversation.
Wow. That's a
So
good percentage. Mhm.
exactly. So what happens is that if you only look at that first interaction,
Mhm.
then you say, yeah, it's not working.
Right.
But because you didn't follow up, it's just
Mhm.
like going to a bar and just saying to somebody, I like you, let's get
Mhm.
married.
Mhm.
Not going to happen now.
Right. You're like, go away, please go away
Exactly.
now.
So, but you start a conversation,
Mhm.
then you start
Mhm.
dating, and guess what? At some point, maybe that person
Right.
wants to marry you
Mhm.
or live with you or
Mhm.
whatever your goal
Right.
was.
Or they might go, all right, nah,
Yeah,
but
it could
yeah.
happen.
Mhm.
But yeah, so you have to evaluate the
Mhm.
channel um, in as a whole,
Mhm.
and if you had a good complete strategy, which
Mhm.
is a lot of people do think that they put ads in Facebook
Mhm.
and then let just money rain, and
Right.
it's not like that.
Mhm. Right. Or, they when they're doing it, they're not targeting enough, as we mentioned,
Exactly.
they're not getting it down close enough, by age, by sex, by
Yeah.
whatever.
Mhm.
And so again, they're wasting it and they're going, well, this ran for a week and 2 people clicked.
Yeah.
Well, and then of course there is the issue of not spending enough.
Yeah.
Now we're not saying this is $1 million ad purchases. This is not
No.
Super Bowl advertising, folks. You can definitely do this on a budget. But if that's the other thing, Facebook will tell you how many people have the potential to see it.
Yep.
And so I like that feature. I think that's very cool because then you can go, oh, you know what, I need to bump the budget up.
Yes, and you need to analyze your conversion
Hmm.
after you run an ad,
Hmm.
and you have to see, okay, if 10,000 people see it and only 1,000 actually click through,
Hmm.
and from those 1,000, 100 actually ask
Hmm.
for a demo, and 1 converts,
Right.
those conversions actually make
Hmm.
sense.
Right.
And how many people do
Hmm.
you have to work it
Right.
backwards
Hmm.
to find out how many people
Hmm.
need to see my ad before I get a
Hmm.
conversion or I get a break even or
Right.
whatever
Right.
goal.
Yeah. As we, as I mentioned in your bio, it's that ROI. If
Exactly.
one person converts and your profit on that one person is $1,000, well, you
Hmm.
don't want to have spent 10,000 on the advertising.
Exactly. Yeah, unless your product
Hmm.
is worth 5 million,
Right. Right.
and then you're 5.
Mhm.
Then
Yeah.
you're totally
Yeah,
fine.
then you can do whatever you want. And but yeah, it's, and then of course, one of the things is we've talked about this, figuring out who it needs to go to. And I always love it when I talk with people about, their target market, their target audience, their whatever the heck you want to call it. And you ask them, who are you trying to reach? And they look at you and they smile sweetly and they say, everyone.
Yeah, everyone. Everyone is a great answer.
No, it's never the right answer. Say, back to the car thing. Maybe you're selling Mercedes. Well, you know what? Not everybody in the world is going to buy a Mercedes for a variety of reasons.
Exactly. For a variety of reasons. And if you are talking, there is such a thing as influencers in your life. And I'm not talking about influencers in Instagram.
Right.
A person doesn't make a decision on their own. It's not excluded from the world. So they have people that influence them. So let's say that you're buying like snow tires. I have a brand that it's snow tires. And so it is not winter, which is when really snow tires go up. It is summer. You're just researching for the future. I may ask my dad, who lives in Colorado, what kind of snow tires he normally buys, and does he like them? So as a brand, if I am selling snow tires, I'm going to target the person that is buying them, but also people that live in snow-prone areas, even if they're not driving right now.
Right.
Why? Because naturally, a person will look for that validation from people that live in snow-prone areas.
Right.
But my message is different. My message cannot be, for your car today, these snow tires. It will be...
Because you're like, where do you think I live?
Exactly. So, you have to work with, who am I talking to? Am I talking to the person that is going to make the purchase, or am I talking to the influencer?
Right.
And so the message for the influencer may be more gentle. It will be more of an education piece, because they may not need
protect your loved ones, whatever.
Exactly, whatever. So those are, you can target people that will not use your product, but they're influencers in their own way. So that's something to be mindful of. And those people will not convert right away. They may convert in like 2 years when they need new snow tires. However, those people may influence somebody, and that is a very delicate relationship to analyze. So you need an expert for that.
I always think about it like Christmas advertising. You're showing toys and things like that, and so the commercials are aimed at the kids. And so they're basically the influencer. They're not going to go buy it. They're, they can't, but they're going to go in and they're going to say, mommy, and so, that's, but your advertising to mom might be totally different. So, like your commercials on TV might be for the kids, because the kids are watching TV. So you've got them on, say, Saturday cartoons. But then for mom, you're going to advertise on maybe Facebook or Pinterest. And, and you're going to be talking about how maybe it's an educational thing for your kids, or, something like that. So again, it's, as you said, it's a different message.
Yeah, it is a different, and that's such a good example. I'm just going to use it from now on.
You may.
I'm borrowing it. I may give it back.
That's okay.
So, but that's a great example of an influencers. And even in schools, you talk to the kids so that the kids talk to whenever you have, as an example, the dentist, local dentists come and they offer educational pieces on how to take care of your teeth.
Everybody got a free toothbrush that day.
Exactly. So the kids get excited and then they come to the moms or the dads, and then that's how it happens. The decision maker was mom or dad, but the influencer was the kid. That's such a good example.
Yeah, and it's funny because we think of influencers as, as you said, the media type of people. I always laugh and say Kim Kardashian, but it can be sports figures. It can be, whoever. It might be the head of your chamber of commerce, depending on what it is. But it's somebody who kind of is an authority, is maybe the way to put it. But, are you really going to buy a children's toy because, say, Kim Kardashian said that her kids use it. Well, some will. I mean, there are some that, really will, simply because they want to, they want to be like Kim, and which is why, she and her family do a lot of product placement type of things. But there are also people who I'm like, I'm sorry, there'd be no way I would buy it. So again, that's knowing your market. If you're trying to reach, say, grandparents buying something, well, the last thing you're going to want is for, a true influencer like that to be talking about, because for one thing, they're just not going to see it.
Exactly. No, it's also, like you very well pointed out, it is about where these people hang out. Like if grandparents hang out more in Facebook, or they hang out even in Instagram, then that's where I'm going to reach them. But if I want to reach the teenage person that it's going to influence their grandparents, kind of reverse, then I need to hang out in TikTok as an example.
Right.
So it is, audience just encompasses more than just who they are, what their age or gender is. It encompasses those interests. It encompasses what the role of this person is in the buying process, and where this person hangs out, and who do they respect.
Right.
That's true. That's also very important. Influencers can be influenced. And so all of these pieces make a perfect audience. And once you have that perfect audience, then your product, your brand is going to be more relevant to their lives.
Right.
They're going to be more accepting of your message.
Right. Yeah, because we all like it when we feel like somebody's talking to us. And they know us, right? If somebody's talking to me, even at, say, a networking event, which we may never go to again, but say they come up and they're pitching their product to me, and it's something that I would never buy. Lakefront property, great example. Just not anything I'm ever probably going to be interested in. If they give me one sentence about it and give me the opportunity to say, wow, that sounds really interesting, but then that's cool. But if they keep pitching at me, then pretty soon I get annoyed. And it comes back to that thing before, where I'm going to go back on to Facebook, to Twitter, to wherever, and say, oh my gosh, avoid this person at all costs.
Yeah, exactly. And brands are the same. Brands have become people kind of in online social media. If somebody contacts a brand through Facebook, through Instagram, through any social media platform, they expect an answer.
Right.
And that's where advertising in social media can be a little bit scary, because anytime that you are placing an ad and publishing an ad, you're opening the conversation.
Right.
And guess what? Sometimes you're going to hear things that you rather didn't, you didn't want to hear. But those are very useful conversations. Because guess what? Those conversations are going to happen whether you're in it or not.
And you better be in it to be able to respond, especially to the negative things. I was dealing with a review for one of my clients earlier this week that was a negative review. Now, it was clear it was a former employee. She said she was a former employee. So of course that made it a different type of response we could do. I mean, there's some legal ramifications, all sorts of things in there, but your first instinct, anytime somebody says something negative, is like, oh, I don't want to answer this, I'm going to hide. And I always tell my clients, no, we have to address it. Even if it's just to say, we're sorry that happened to you.
Yeah.
And, and so that's what we responded to this person. We said, we're terribly sorry that you did not have a good experience working for us. We would love to discuss it further. Here's who to contact and the phone number.
Yes.
Is she ever going to call? No. But the reason we did that was because anybody else looking at it goes, oh, okay, they really did care.
Yeah, exactly. And that you gave an opportunity to that person to air their grievances in private.
Right.
We had a client last year that through paid media, we were able to actually build a community, a very supportive community.
Wow.
So whenever I met her, all the ads, she's like, how do I turn off comments? I keep deleting them and hiding them. and I say, hold on, why are
Yeah.
you doing that?
Why?
Let's listen to them.
Mhm.
And yes, that there was the problem of their products were too expensive.
Mhm.
I'm like, well, this tells me that whoever was managing your account before was targeting the wrong people.
Right.
So listen to them, and
Mhm.
then, okay, if price is an issue, obviously we shouldn't be in your
Mhm.
news feed.
Mhm.
So slowly, and by slowly I mean 4 months, because 4 months is slowly in
Right.
digital.
Oh yeah. Mhm.
And slowly we build a very supportive community where anytime somebody had a grievance, they
Mhm.
will post it in our ads.
Mhm.
But guess what? The very, very loving community
Mhm.
would
Right.
actually defend the brand.
Oh, and that's exactly who you want to defend, because of
Yeah,
course the business is going to say, "Pfeh." But when
yeah,
all of these, and it doesn't matter in the slightest that you don't know those people, but
no,
when they say, wait a minute, this really is a good product, this is a good company, I had this experience, you're like, oh, okay. And again, maybe it doesn't sway that person, but it's somebody else who reads it.
yeah, exactly. And it was, first of all, the negative comments went down
Mhm.
significantly,
Right.
but there was always that one person that thought that the product was too expensive.
Right.
So another member of the community will
Mhm.
say, I know it looks
Mhm.
expensive, but it's going to fit you right. It
Right.
is good quality.
Last
And guess what?
longer, whatever. Mhm.
Exactly. And it's a very fashionable product.
Mhm.
You're going to love it.
Mhm.
So, and in addition, they offer this refund policy.
Mhm.
So I loved seeing
Mhm.
this. And
Right.
guess what? Your social media platform is going
Mhm.
to love seeing this
Mhm.
because
Right.
it is interaction, it is engagement,
Mhm.
and people are having a positive experience
Mhm.
after that.
Right.
And just like you mentioned, it may not convince that one person because
Mhm.
some battles are not won in the internet.
Right.
And
Oh yeah.
yeah, so you cannot convince that person, but somebody else reading all the comments
Mhm.
will actually think twice about it.
Mhm.
And it's like, oh yeah, they're
Yeah.
kind of expensive,
Yeah,
but
was more, but.
exactly, I
Mhm.
have more
Mhm.
information right now to make the appropriate decision.
Mhm.
So don't fear comments. They may be painful at the very beginning because it's a new habit
Mhm.
to acquire,
Mhm.
to actually see comments that are negative and see how can we make it better.
Mhm.
Because at the end of the day, we're all here to sell products that people can use.
Mhm.
So whenever you analyze that and we target the right people,
Mhm.
one, your negative comments will go down, and two, you may be surprised, loyal fans, what they will
Right.
do and say for
Mhm.
you.
Oh, definitely. One of the things that people are always telling me, and or I'll read on, especially on Facebook, I get so bombarded with ads. I hate seeing
Mm-hmm.
ads.
Mm-hmm.
All these various things. And and sometimes they don't understand it's an ad. They're like, why did I get this? And I'm like, okay, in tiny little print it says sponsored. That's how you know it's an
Mm-hmm.
ad. But it's also a little spooky because we're in, say, Google, or another search engine, and we've looked for something, and then we get Facebook ads. And of course
Mm-hmm.
there's computery reasons why there's that there, but it's a little bit spooky. So how do you deal with people who are like, oh my god, this is Big Brother, what are what's going on?
Yeah, no, and I get that question as soon as somebody asks me, what do I do for a
Hmm.
living? And I explain, I have this agency that puts
Your
Facebook ads.
fault, it's you who does this.
I am, I am the least liked person in the party. Retargeting, it's a very good way to follow up on that conversation.
Mhm.
And yes, you're getting a lot of ads, but because you're using a platform that is meant to be free for you.
Right.
So guess what? Your currency right now
Yeah.
is your
Mhm.
information.
I tell people, yeah, you use Facebook for free, folks. There is a
Exactly.
price to do that.
There is a price. And guess what? Facebook does it. Twitter does it.
Hmm.
TikTok does it.
Right.
Every
Hmm.
platform that offers you something for free
Hmm.
is going to take something away from you. As an advertiser, I let people know that I do not see any personal information.
Hmm.
I don't see you, Deb,
Right.
bought this kind of product,
Hmm.
but I don't know who you, Deb,
Hmm.
are.
Right.
I know a profile of
Hmm.
you. So that makes people a little bit um, a little bit calmer
Right.
sense of, okay, I know you're not getting my social security number.
Right.
So that
you didn't get
helps.
my home address.
No. And I can only retarget you if you have a certain kind of behavior that I have pre-designed. I cannot just retarget you without any variables inserted in my retargeting. So, and guess what? It may be helpful for you. If you
definitely.
if you go into the cart and you add a whole bunch of stuff that you wanted to buy, and then the doorbell rings, and then you have something happening, and then something else happened, and you forget, and then you close your computer, you leave, and you forgot what you put in your cart.
Right.
If that company actually has a good retargeting program, they may actually retarget you with the products that you have in your cart. That would be a great thing. Actually, Facebook has something like that, where they put something in the cart, but they abandoned it. So we can retarget them with the kind of products that now we know they truly like. Right. I'm not going to give you that red teapot because you didn't put that in your cart. What you put were, the blue pan. So, hey, let's send you more blue pans or more pans or whatever you put in the cart.
Right.
And so it's for your benefit sometimes.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, I cheat. I take advantage of that, and because I know how the system works. And so I'll go in and I'll search for whatever just once. And then I know I'm going to start seeing ads for it. Now, does it get annoying? Well, yeah, especially if I've bought whatever it is. It's one of the things, like right now, masks. Yeah. I'm in one of the medical communities where I'm going to have to wear a mask for quite a long time. Well, I don't want to wear those blue things that you throw away. These are now going to be part of my wardrobe. And so, I'm shopping for masks that have a certain pattern on it, or all these various things. And so I put it in there. Now of course I'm getting bombarded because masks are kind of the one of the big hot button things. And then I'm wondering, okay, are these real companies? Are they legit? Well, they were legit enough to pay the bill for advertising, but so it's, I don't have to look for masks again. I just have to go into Facebook because they're going to start appearing, and I could have even made it more. I could have looked for, say, fabric masks, and then that would show up, and that's where the advertisers have targeted specific words that people are looking for.
That's in Google. In Google search, they do target special words, and that's fantastic because that's an intention base. I know you're looking for masks, so I will serve you ads with masks. In Facebook, it's more about you clicked on a website, or you clicked on a page, or on a post, and then they will track that, because if the website has the Facebook pixel, they know to target you. And then going back a little bit, which is something that I get a question about every time, is, well, I already purchased the coffee maker. Why am I being retargeted? That is bad retargeting. That is terrible retargeting. All you targeting, actually, whether it's the first time you talk to them, the second, the third, the fourth, should always exclude somebody that already purchased from you.
Right.
Because that is annoying, and it just lowers the quality of your advertising, and you're spending money on somebody that already converted.
Right.
Unless every time I talk to clients, there's so many caveats. Unless you are actually retargeting them to upsell them or to cross sell them.
Right.
You bought a shirt. Now, you know what will go great with that shirt?
Pants.
The pants.
Or shorts. We're all Zooming, right? Nobody wears pants anymore.
Or sleepers, whatever. But if that's your goal, then it will be a different ad. It will be somebody that bought shirts. Now we're going to send them pants, but do not send them this exact same shirt as they bought. So
and Amazon is great at that. It will say people who bought pants also bought shirts. And then they show you that, and you're thinking, oh, okay, well, let me look at that. And again, I cheat on occasion and do that because I don't want to do the work to find those pants. So I'm just going to, I'll put something in there that I know then is their bots are going to bring it up for me.
Exactly. But see, you're already describing a behavior that needs retargeting. You're like, okay, I'm going to put it there. I'm going to think about it. And then somebody needs to remind you, hey, you were looking for pants. So we have a sale now that is pins.
Right.
And you get 10% off. Or maybe
Mm-hmm.
price is one of those barriers to entry for you to actually continue the customer journey.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it is timing. Maybe going back to the snow tires, I'm going to put the snow tires there,
Mm-hmm.
but I really don't need them right now.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever there is a storm, I could geo-target everybody in Colorado that sees the storm coming and just say, you know what, you're going to need these snow tires.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
So things like that are relevant to you. And we all have behaviors where we need to be reminded and that are perfect for retargeting. And again, perfect retargeting is message that makes sense to the person that is hearing it, and the right timing and the proper ad. So those are the things that make for good advertising, that makes sense, and for a good experience with the brand, even before I click on the website. An ad is the first impression. You just have one impression to make. Just make it right.
Right. And it needs to be, I mean, there's, we could go into a class on advertising, but, it needs to be understandable, maybe have a graphic, I mean, all these things. But the cool thing is that digital advertising is inexpensive enough that you can do multiple ads. You can do the old A/B testing, and which is cool because then, it's not like you've spent $50,000 on a television commercial and you're going to, change up what's in it. Most people cannot do that. And even the big companies, a lot of times they're not going to waste their money like that anymore. But, they could do an ad that's, maybe it's back to the cars, so one features a female who's driving the car and the other features a male who's driving the car. Probably one of the easiest things, or, different color cars, different, all those things. So then what do people click on more? And then of course it's the message too. What did you say? That really got somebody's attention.
And that is what digital advertising is basically based on. It's just A/B testing.
Right.
Because, I remember whenever we used to do A/B testing in TV, it was like a month to change a tape, to tell the station we had to change the tape.
Oh, yeah.
How did it work? And randomly send tapes and, stop airing that tape. And it was VHS tapes. Now I'm totally dating myself. Some people listening to this are like, what are VHS?
What's a I know. Wow.
Just go with it. So it took a long time. And but now within 3 days, I can totally tell you, even less, depending on the spend.
Yep.
I can tell you, I know what's working. And actually the algorithms are helping by doing true A/B testing, meaning one person only will see one ad and one person and another person will only see your other ad. So you can actually really test if it's working or not. Because the problem with putting ads and not specifying that it is an A/B testing is that platforms like Facebook will start delivering the ad that performs better at the very beginning, and then your test is just muddied. And doesn't mean that the ad itself is performing well from the beginning. Maybe they saw one ad first and the second ad is the one that converts them.
Right. Oh yeah. The old, we need to see it, however many times.
Exactly.
Actually make the purchase.
Exactly. So it gets really, really metal if you do not specify that it's an A/B testing for the platform to actually truly help you do it.
Right.
So, and that's where people that do not understand Facebook very well, they start advertising and they can actually do more damage than, good.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the worst thing is if people actually go there and want to buy and you're not ready for that. And it doesn't matter if it's a Facebook ad or whatever. I had a client one time who was an author and she wrote this great book, wonderful book. And, she said, I want to be on Oprah. And she wanted to go from, I've written this book to, I want to be on Oprah. There was no in between, which, we had to start having that conversation. But I said, okay, so say you get on Oprah's, this was back when Oprah was on TV and she did her book of the month thing. And, and I said, I hadn't researched it, but my guess was when Oprah said buy X book, 30,000 of those or whatever went right then. I said,
Mhm.
do you have the ability to fulfill that? Well, of course she didn't. And I said, then we need to rethink this. If you're sending people to buy the blue car and you don't have any blue cars, most people are not going to go, oh, okay, well, a red one will do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That it's not, especially when you're doing a digital online
Mhm.
purchase,
Mhm.
then you're way more picky because guess what? There is 1,000 other products that
Mhm.
are very similar to
Right.
yours that will meet their needs just
Mhm.
as well,
Mhm. Right.
or maybe even less pricing.
Mhm.
And you have to bear that in mind
Mhm.
whenever you're making a promise in an ad that you can actually fulfill it,
Mhm.
because there's nothing more frustrating than clicking on an ad and finding something totally different,
Oh, yeah.
or just not finding it.
Right. I back to masks. I mentioned to you before we started the program, I'm a big University of Colorado person. Their website, so their university website pops up, and with mask ads. We're now in stock. Ah, yay! I click on, I buy, I get, now this is 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it said available now. That's the key word.
Mm-hmm.
I bought it and I got, your shipping date is July 20th.
Ooh, yes.
And I want the masks. I will wait for the masks. It's, but that just annoyed me to no end that
Yeah.
their online said available now. And then and it didn't tell me I couldn't get it until July 20th, till after I'd bought it. So
Yeah.
that whole process was, obviously made me not a happy camper. Would I post about it online and complain? No, probably not. But I might. I mean, it's not, if it was a more expensive item, or more importantly, if I needed it right away.
Yeah.
If there was something that I needed that for and didn't have it, then I'm really going to be annoyed. So that comes back to the whole process. I mean, can you fulfill that order when you say you're going to?
Yes, and that brings me to another part of
Mhm.
advertising, and is the experience in the website. So
Mhm.
I teach Google Analytics because
Mhm.
my I believe that we need to follow up on the leads that we
Mhm.
send clients and see how they behave
Mhm.
in their website. So we will get into your Google
Mhm.
Analytics and analyze that.
Mhm.
We
Mhm.
don't, Spring Hill Digital doesn't only just, here it is, impressions and
Right.
clicks, and what happens afterwards is not my
Mhm.
problem. We actually, because these are small and medium companies,
Mhm.
we actually get in the data with you and see how we can effectively
Mhm.
bring better leads. So I get into Google Analytics sometimes and find out that the person is getting lost. Is
Mhm.
getting lost in your
Right.
website. It's clicking here, there,
Yeah.
there,
You
there.
went you sent them to the homepage with no direction to the product or whatever it was.
Exactly. So that is a problem. We
Mhm.
have to take them in the shortest path to the
Mhm.
goal that we want them
Mhm.
to do. If it's just brand awareness,
Mhm.
you can bring them to your homepage. I've
Right.
done that.
Mhm.
Perfect.
Mhm.
Now, if I want them to buy the strawberry ice cream,
Mhm.
then why would I take them to the homepage and let them
Right.
find their way to the
Mhm.
strawberry
Yeah.
ice cream? Let's take them directly to the strawberry
Yeah.
ice cream.
It's called a landing page, people. Now,
I know.
hopefully they're going to want to buy more. And so that's where you say, what goes well with strawberry ice cream? You
You
know?
know, the syrup that we have
Mhm.
here, or
Yep.
what, cream,
Mhm.
whipped cream, and we
Mhm.
also sell that.
Mhm.
So, but people don't understand that if you just take them to a random place,
Mhm.
the audience is going to get lost,
Mhm.
and you spend a lot of money to bring
Mhm.
that lead in, and nothing came out of it.
Mhm.
So if you want them to explore your website
Mhm.
after they buy the
Mhm.
strawberry ice cream, then go ahead and send them to to another path. And
Right.
it's like, okay, you bought a strawberry ice
Mhm.
cream. You know what? Maybe next time you want to buy our mint ice cream.
Mhm.
Or you know
Mhm.
what? Are you dairy free? Here are our
Mhm.
other options for dairy
Right.
free. And here's a coupon.
Mhm.
Next time you come, just use the coupon.
Mhm.
There is many ways to make that trip that they're taking with you in
Mhm.
your website a very enjoyable one.
Right.
So
You know,
online. Online shopping shouldn't be a task.
Right.
It should be a very
Yeah,
nice
and because as you
level.
mentioned, there's 1,000 other products out there. So the second
Yeah.
you make it difficult, I'm gone.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, for the the small business owners, the entrepreneurs who are they're the only person in their business. They're doing their advertising, they're doing their website, all of those various things. This is not complicated. I mean, you might have to practice at it and figure out how to do a landing page and, some things like that, because you don't want everybody who goes to your website to get strawberry ice cream.
No.
But yeah, I mean, it's not a complicated process. And once you've kind of gone through it several times, it will become second nature to you.
It will. What we believe is that a smaller business, and you start a business because you have something that you're passionate about.
Mm-hmm.
You like making bread, you like making clothing or
Mm-hmm.
selling clothing. So what we believe is that digital marketing shouldn't be a task that you have to learn.
Mm-hmm.
It's a steep hill to
Mm-hmm.
learn everything.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where we come in and we help them set the plan.
Mm-hmm.
I just have a new client that we're just setting up the audience. Because they have run ads with a previous person that just kind of like US 20 to 60. And I'm like, that's not going to get you anywhere.
No.
So let's start with your audience and then put the ads, and then let's take it one step at a time. And whenever you do it properly, then the results are way more meaningful.
Right.
And you can duplicate them. That's the problem. If you
oh, this worked, let's do this again. Or, this, how do we need to tweak this?
Exactly. So it's effective if you design it well, because no matter the result, whether it's good or bad, you can always modify it. But if you do not know what variables went in, then you cannot do anything about it. You can only just hope that it's going to go right. And you're going to waste a lot of money.
So how do you figure out if the campaign is working, aside from, people bought it?
Yeah, all right. So it depends on the objective of the campaign.
Okay.
What did we want to do? Did we want to increase brand awareness? Brand awareness is where we want to be in everybody's mouth. We want them to recognize us in the grocery store. So whenever we look at that, then I actually look at different metrics than if I want them to actually purchase the item in my website. So brand awareness as an example, I look at impressions and how many people have seen it, how many people I reach, but also how many people saved my post or my ad, how many people shared it. Sharing an ad in your own newsfeed is the biggest compliment that a brand could get, right? Because I actually like these posts so much that I'm going to make it part of my feed. And I know I'm going to influence other people.
I'm going to put my reputation on the line by saying this is a great blue car.
Exactly. So actually, I love looking at how many ads that I posted were shared, but also when people are engaging, are they actually commenting? Are they liking it? Any interaction that happens within the ad, I want to know about it. And that's what gives me the quality brand awareness, because I can send 1 million impressions with very little budget, but are they the right impressions?
Right.
If people are not interacting with your ad,
did it have a cute kitten that people went, "Oh, cute kitten"?
Exactly.
But you have nothing to do with cute kittens. Well, then
Exactly. Exactly. So that would be brand awareness as an example. And then if I just want to introduce my new website, or I want people to click on it and arrive someplace, then I am going to look for traffic, and I'm going to tell. I'm going to tell Facebook to drive people to my website and optimize for the ones that are actually arriving. And one little tip here, if you're doing this on your own, do not optimize for link clicks. That's just people that click on your link. Doesn't mean that they arrive to your page.
Right.
So that's, for many reasons, it can be extremely different. So optimize for landing page. And then once they arrive to the landing page, the next step will be optimizing for conversions, which could be getting their email address, or it could be making a sale. It's up to the company.
Right.
So it was a more complicated answer than you probably
No,
were expecting.
because it is a complicated thing. And so, say you've run a Facebook ad, you're going to get their stats, but then you also have to know what's going on your website.
Exactly.
And so you've got to be able to run analytics there to know, okay, well, we sent them to the landing page. How long did they stay on the landing page? Long enough to read it? Or did they go, ugh, we didn't want that? And then did they click through to buy it? Did they do whatever the steps were? And so that's going to come from the analytics on your website.
Exactly. Analytics on your website is there to help you. So even if you don't like numbers, I recommend you go in and play with your Google Analytics, which is the free tool, and just analyze what people are doing and how they are reacting to your ad. Whenever you do that, let me give you just one more tip. Bounce rate is the most misunderstood metric in there, which means people come in and don't do anything and then come out. But did you ask them to do something?
Right. Yeah. Did you say buy this or read this or do that? Whatever.
So yeah, those things are what's going to make your ad better next time and improve the experience of the audience. And that first impression will be much better whenever you look at the entire picture and not just, let's put an ad, see what happens.
Right. And one of the things that you need to have done is you need a baseline, so you need to know, okay, well, 10 people go to my website every day and here's what happens. Because if you run the ad and then look, well, you have nothing to compare it to. So did you make it better? Did you make it worse? Oi. That's bad. Did you annoy people with whatever? And one of the things I always tell people is the ad needs to match the website. I've seen people who've used different logos, different branding, and so then when you go to the website, you're like, I went to the wrong place. I had that happen yesterday. I clicked through and went to, and it was the right site. I mean, I knew I was in the right place, but it was branded so differently. I really thought I was in the wrong place.
Exactly. That is something also to be considered. If you have an ad that performed well 2 years ago and it has different branding that today, please don't air it. I know it worked really
just
well.
because you got 1,000 sales off of it.
You are going to have to redo it because you need those visual cues for your audience to trust you. And different logos, different feelings, different tone of voice is going to confuse audiences. And trust is the only thing you have in digital advertising. Trust, transparency are the things that that audiences are going to look in your brand. Like you were mentioning the mask example.
Available now, but not really.
Next time that you see that ad, you're going to be like, I'm not clicking on it. Even if I need masks, I am not going to click on it.
And so I won't use that vendor again. And more importantly, it might be for anything. I'm not going to buy anything from them.
It could be. Yes. So be aware.
Not good. Well, Naira, this is great. We've only got just a couple minutes left. And I think one of the things is probably people are going, okay, we probably should do this, but it sounds really complicated. So that's where they would contact you. So tell us a little bit more about how you work with companies to have successful campaigns.
So we look at what are they doing now, talking about that baseline. We help them develop that audience and test it. We help with the creative as well. We have an amazing creative director, and we just place the media, we optimize it, and then we get your results. And if those results are not what you were expecting, we explain the results, which is something that a lot of people don't do. So we hold your hand through the entire process because I know what it is to be confused by something completely new. And I've seen a lot of clients struggle with this process because they've tried it in their own. So we'll help you look at the right way to optimize your ads and set up those objectives. So I want my objective, and everybody here in Spring Hill Digital, our objective is for you to succeed. And so whenever a client contacts us, a new business person contacts us, we will evaluate if we are the right agency for you, but also what the process is of going through advertising for you. And do you have the resources? going back to your example of the book, if you don't have the capability to produce 30,000 copies in one sitting, then maybe digital advertising is not for you.
Right.
So those are hard conversations to have, but I think they help both us and the client to set the right expectations. So go to my website, springhilldigital.com. We actually have a free planning guide.
I have it.
You have it.
It's great. It's short. It's short, folks. It's 3 pages, just 3 pages, and it's big words.
We made it big, yeah.
And so it explains, okay, you need to think about your budget, where, how long, do you have a landing page? How are you going to track it? That's page 1. See, it's easy. The whole financial process, because that gets a little weird depending on what platform you're on. Are you bidding, click rates, all of those things, which is why in many cases it just helps to hire somebody to help with this. And then figuring out again who your audience is. There's no point in putting an ad for people who are 60 and over on, say, TikTok. That's just not going to happen. Now, then it's funny. I always love that because I'll say that and I'll have somebody who says, well, I'm 65 and I'm on TikTok.
Okay, good for you.
That's great. And you'll also have somebody who's 16 who says Facebook is the greatest thing in the world. Those are anomalies. And those platforms, because they want your money and they want your repeat money. That's the important thing. They give you all the demographics. They give you help. I mean, they don't want you to say, oh my gosh, don't advertise on them again. So they're going to be helpful too. Figure out your audience. And then again, your checklist talks about the creative, the ad, oh my God, one of the things that you talk about in here is pictures. Depending on what it is, maybe it's your product, you need your own picture, but obviously it depends on what it is. I say this every time I talk about marketing and advertising. You have to have the rights to that picture, folks. Just doing a right click on, you go to images.com or images.google.com, right? And this is a pretty picture of a starry night. You don't get to use that just because you found it there. Make sure you have, and especially if you're running an ad, because you can get in really serious trouble. You need to make sure that you have the rights to use that picture. And in a lot of cases, it means using your own. Then you've got it. I mean, then you don't have to worry about it. But, and then can't talk about it enough. Call to action. What do you want them to do? And this is all again on, what's the website? springhilldigital.com. And so this is great information, but, if people, then probably the next question is, oh my gosh, this is too expensive. And obviously it's a scale, it varies, but, I'm assuming you're not going to charge $1 million.
No, because we have small and medium agents companies, so we know that price is an issue. So as a matter of fact, we do not charge per percentage of media spend. We charge for our work. So as many campaigns as you run, then you pay more. If you only have one campaign, you only pay for one. That way, when I tell you you need to increase your budget in media, then it's not because I want more money. It's because you truly need it.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, so we only charge per campaign, per platform. And all that pricing is actually in the website. So I'm super transparent about it.
Perfect.
You can always just hire us to consult. Just like, hey, what am I doing wrong?
Right.
We come in and just talk to you about it. And then you just pay for the time that you need.
Perfect. I love it. Well, this really has been great. And it's fun because so many people, I think, have misperceptions about what digital advertising is. I mentioned the fact that people think, it's intrusive. It's, I was talking to somebody the other day and I said, there's that meme that goes around on Facebook every once in a while that says, I was talking to my husband about our lack of privacy. He laughed, I laughed, Alexa laughed. But right, it seems like that sometimes. And I mean, there are people who swear that happens,
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's the reason I don't have those automated assistants in my
I
house.
know. Yeah, every once in a while my computer goes, "Oh, hey, you were talking to me." No, I'm not talking to you. Stop that. Go away. But yeah, so it is something that is really, I mean, it's no different than television advertising, newspaper advertising. It's just a different platform that we're doing this on. And so as the business doing it, you want to get the biggest bang for your buck, and get, the best return on your investment is maybe the better way I need to say that.
Yeah, it is very true. Return on investment should be your goal.
Yep.
At the end of the day, that's what you want. You need to advertising to sustain your company. And as much as you want to solve problems, you need that return on investment to be able to support your business. So totally understandable.
Perfect. Well, Naira, again, tell people how they find you and connect with you.
So you can find me at springhilldigital.com. That's springhilldigital.com. And if you send us a message through the website, actually it comes directly to me. So
perfect.
You can contact me there.
I love it. Well, do you have any final thoughts for everyone?
Yeah, try it on your own. It's very easy to try it on your own, but know that there is a lot of twists and turns in the platform. So if you feel overwhelmed, ask for help. Perfect. That's the right time.
Perfect. I love it. I love it. Well, I'm Deb Creer. I've been having a just fascinating discussion with Naira Perez. And until next time, everyone have a great day.
Tune in for our next program for even more trends, best practices, and techniques for how to make your business a success. The Business Power Hour, hosted by Deb Creer, is proud to be part of the C-Suite Network.